have January and February there. Rachel or Michael will be putting the March one up after you've done it. Okay, let's go back to the post-processing challenge. Rachel, send me some pictures that she's going to talk about. I'll have to move it from here, but she'll tell us how this works.
Yeah, so I talked about this last month, but the idea is that we are going to put some raw images into a Google folder or somewhere online, and you'll get notification in the snapshot, which will go out on Monday, March 1st, of where to find those images, because they'll be too big for us to email them to you. So we'll put them online somewhere for you to access. And we encourage everyone to edit them in any way you like. And it doesn't have to just be using Lightroom. You can use any post-processing that you like. As many people know now, photography is more than just understanding your subject and your camera. There's so much involved in post-processing, and there's so many filters and different types of software you can buy. So I've just put a few examples here to give people some ideas of what you might want to do. And so you can do something as simple as maybe just remove some dead space or negative space in an image to make it look a bit tighter. You can see on the left here, there's a lot of snow there that doesn't really add to the image. You can just crop it out. And also you can remove the swan's poo if you want to. If you go to the next one, Randy, or you can do something really crazy, you know, Photoshop in a T-Rex that Schwabeckers. And this is actually an image that is the reason why Schwabeckers is closed in winter. It's not because they're trying to protect the wildlife, it's because the winter wildlife will get you, okay? So this is like a real image. Okay, it's not. Next one, Randy.
So the editing is taking out that Rex?
No, no, yes, correct. It's taking it out.
Okay.
You know, alternatively, you can go crazy with sliders and plugins, and this is actually Michael Cohen's edit of a raw image that I took. So if you just want to do something that's, you know, makes it a bit more arty and funky, do something simple like that. And then there's one more next up.
Oops, sorry.
This is just another example of cropping out negative space from a shot to make a 5x4 rather than having all that gravel that doesn't really add to the image. So there's a bunch of ideas you can utilize. You don't have to use Lightroom. You can do whatever you want. We want everyone to get really creative, and you've got 6 weeks to do this, because it will be, I think, April the 21st is the meeting. And as of Monday, we will have the photos online for you to access a raw file. So it gives you plenty of time. There will be a link put in the snapshot, and we'll put it on Facebook too. So you'll get it as an email and on Facebook. So you'll know where to access these, and just go crazy, have some fun. Michael, do you want to add anything?
No, I think you've got it. And I think it's just going to be a really good time for people to, you know, try to use their creativity and experience in post-processing to create something that other people haven't created. And I think what's going to be most fascinating is that, you know, there are going to be, what, Rachel, 4 or 5, 6 images, something like that?
Yeah.
So, you know, if we have 20 or 30 people each
Oh my God.
in the same picture, you're going to see 20 or 30 different versions of the same picture that some of them will be like, wow, how did they come up with that idea? So I think it's going to be great fun.
Yeah, I'm going to probably throughout the next few weeks put on the Facebook page. I know not everyone's on Facebook, but if you are, I might put up some videos of examples of other people's tutorials of post-processing in case you're interested in following along, you know, doing maybe something like just doing something like this where you cut out some space. That's really simple. It's like 4 steps in Photoshop, to something as complicated as luminosity masks if you want to go down that road, or, you know, just replacing the sky with the Photoshop sky replacement tool, which many people may have seen. It's not that new now, it's a few months old, but it's very simple. So I'm going to put some of those things up to inspire you so that you've got 6 weeks to do it.
I'll also just mention that the What Do I Do meeting that we had a couple of months ago, where we did a lot of different post-processing techniques, the entire video of that meeting is up on the resources page of the Teton Photography Group's website.
Yeah, so go back and watch that if you want some inspiration as well. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
And that's going to be something that's new, that we're going to be adding a lot of those, whether it's the peer mentor program or the presentation on the third week. So we'll be catching up on lots of those things. Okay, anything else about this for Rachel or Michael? Questions you got?
This is where you save your mistakes.
Yeah, save your mistakes so you can show them to the group and we can talk about how to fix them. That's good.
Oh, sounds good. Oh, and you've got these 5 or 6 pictures already, right? The raw images?
They'll be available for the group to access on Monday, March 1st. So they're not quite ready to go yet.
Okay, but they're the basic raw pictures, and then there's all kinds of ways you can change.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I wanted to quickly go through this for the veterans that have been around forever. You wouldn't know it, but we've gotten new people almost every month, and I want to make sure I share this with them. This is the one that always becomes the problem, that for all of our theme challenges, that it's important that the picture that you share with me, that I share with everybody else, has to be taken between the time the theme is chosen, which will be tonight, and then midnight the next month, because people were sending me pictures at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and particularly if I was driving over, I couldn't do that. So we've got kind of 4 rules. That's the most important one. Rule 2 and 3, no big deal. Number 2, you can use any type of camera, whether it's an iPhone, straight out of the camera, Lightroom, Photoshop, other software. One of the things that I think is important for us to be aware of, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, that the photo and what you vote for should follow the guidance of the theme, what the theme is. And we'll have articles, and I'm going to be trying to change how those show up on the TPC website to make it a little bit easier to find them. But we've got some really good articles that you can read, and we always have a discussion before we actually have the vote. And so 4 is kind of an evaluation of 3. Voting for the natural frame theme photo tonight should reflect the theme, not necessarily your favorite photo. And that's why I want to take a few minutes to talk about that theme, what you learned maybe from your own personal experience, or what you learned from reading the articles that were on the TPC website. So let's start with the discussion of that. So before we look at any natural frame photos, what will make a photo that you're going to see? We've got 14 of them tonight. What would make a photo be a good example of natural frame photos? You don't even have to raise your hand. Everybody can jump in right away. Be aware of other people talking or not. Go.
I think that what makes a good photo is, first and foremost, that the subject that you're shooting is an interesting subject. And then figuring out a way to frame that becomes secondary. I had some great photos of some really boring things that had some great natural framing around them. But learning from last year's natural framing challenge, it became pretty clear that there has to be some sort of a subject, some sort of mood that inspires you to see that photo as a good photo with the natural framing.
The natural framing photo, the natural framing itself adds to an already good photo. Thank you, Becky. What else?
Well,
Yeah, I was going to agree with Rebecca. I think that it can't be a good frame and a bad photo. I mean, I think it has to be both. It has to be a nice, obvious, natural frame, but I think it also has to be a good photo.
Something for you really to look at.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay. What else?
I would say, yeah, when I was reading the articles, by the time I was done, I mean, a frame can be 4 sides, 3 sides, 2 sides, 1 side. And to an extent, what I took from it is a frame is really only limited by your imagination,
Mhm.
but it's a device that sort of points to something in that photo in one form or another.
And the frame itself shouldn't be what draws you into the picture.
Your eye should go to the subject.
Right.
It kind of changed my view of what a frame was, because these are traditionally could be non-frames, but something that outlines or points to your photograph.
Mhm. And one of the things that I forget who it was that mentioned it, that it doesn't need to be a frame like a picture frame that's on all four sides. It could be two sides, it could be three sides, but it helps you focus in on something good in that picture. Anything else?
I'd like to think that the subject could almost stand alone without the frame.
Yeah. But the frame adds a plus, makes it a little
Yes.
bit better.
The frame is required for this.
Yeah, that's true. One of the things I found is you can use the frame to get rid of some boring stuff, whether it be the foreground or maybe a sky, or it helps you narrow in on something that's very interesting as part of that photo. Anything else? Okay, here's some of the things that I found. We've already talked about this, what we're looking for, what really caught your eye. Here's some of the things I thought were important. Draws the viewer's eyes and emphasizes the subject. Isolates the key subject. It's kind of like leading lines, but more controlled than just that. Takes away boring foreground or background like a boring sky. Can add depth to the image. Makes the frame distinct from the subject. Kind of like a real frame, but it's a little different than that. And the last one is that the frame, and this one I hadn't thought of before, but when I saw more and more pictures, I thought more and more about this, that a blurred or badly exposed frame, particularly if it's too dark, really helps out. So it doesn't, the frame itself doesn't catch your eye very much. Okay.
Leave me alone. Daisy, I'm busy.
We've got 14 images. So if some of you haven't been around for one in a while, what we do now is you vote for, on the first round, you vote for 4 votes instead of 3 or 2 or 1, so that then we have more pictures that we actually have critique on. So what will happen is, Lauren, is David back yet?
I don't see him.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Lauren, you're going to help us out. When I show you these pictures, and I'll do it the way I've always done it before, what you're going to do is send a chat to Lauren with there are 14 numbers. You get to vote for 4 the first round. And then when Lauren gets this all organized and says, okay, we're going to pick out 4 photos, and oftentimes we get ties. However many votes, whether it's 3 or 4 or 5 pictures, then we'll have a second vote where you get only 1 vote. Okay, does everybody understand that?
So Randy, do we vote all at once at the end or as the pictures come by?
No, I'll show them. What I'll do is I'll go through and show them to you as a large picture, one at a time, and then you'll be able to see all of them, and you can start the vote. But typically what I do is show them as a big picture twice. Okay, any other questions? Okay, wait a second here. Whoops. Now I need to get to, patient with me. Okay, here we go. You now see, do you now see Lightroom?
No.
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 Still got PowerPoint.
Share screen, share your,
You have to
you have to share a
unshare,
different
and
screen.
then you have to unshare and then reshare with the light.
Okay. Now do you have it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have it small.
Oh. Now do you have it big?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I can
Not
make,
really big, but bigger.
Well,
Well, it
it'll
fills
be
the
big,
screen.
it'll be big when he goes full frame.
Yeah, it fills the screen.
okay. So I can make these bigger. Okay, I'm going to start at 1 and then I'll go all the way through down to 14. And that will show you 2 rounds of this. This is number 1. Remember, you've got 4 votes. This is number 2. This is number 3. This is number 4. This is number 5. This is number 6. This is number 7. This is number 8. This is number 9. This is number 10. This is number 11. This is number 12. This is number 13. This is number 14. Okay, here they all are. And I'll go through them one more time. Let's see here. Nope. Okay, does everybody understand what they're supposed to do? There's a chat room. I don't know where the chat room actually is on mine. Does everybody know where the chat room is at the
It's
bottom?
at the bottom.
And go and send your votes just to Lauren. And you have 4 votes. Here we go again. I go a little quicker now. This is 1, 2, 3,
Gigi, don't send them to everybody, just send them to Lauren.
yep, 4, 5,
I don't know how to fix it.
let's go to the where that's, does it say chat at the bottom and you can find, oh, here's what may be problematic for you. It's not Lauren's name, it's David's.
No,
No,
it's
it's Lauren,
Lauren.
Lauren now.
Oh, it's Lauren now? Okay.
Is it, Lauren? Okay.
Okay, so that's 6, 7, 8, 8,
I can't give her Gigi's pictures in the chat.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Tell me again how we send them to Lauren or David?
Send them to Lauren.
Okay. Do we punch on his name and then give their numbers?
Yes, get 4. You can vote for
Got it.
4.
So yeah, over where it says 2, it may either say the group or you can pick an individual. So pick Lauren as an individual.
Right.
And this usually takes us a while because I don't want to rush anybody to vote. But maybe we could talk a little bit about these photos.
Oh, you know what, Mike?
To Lauren.
Dude, Mike.
Oh, this is too big, really. Oops. Oh, Rick is here.
Any more votes to come in?
Has everybody got their votes in?
They go to Lauren, right?
Yep.
Last call for votes.
Hey, Lauren, while you're waiting for the last call, at the end of this meeting, what I would like you to do is send me the complete vote, but we don't need the complete vote at this point, just which are the top 5 photos. And if there's a tie, there is always our ties. So we might have 6, we might only have 4. You pick that out.
And Randy, do you need to check with the winner that they're okay with their photo going on Snapshot next month?
I'll say something about it, but it's never been a problem before. I think people like to have that picture on the top of Snapshot.
Okay.
During the break here, I don't get Snapshot.
Oh,
You should, Doug. If you paid your well, if you're on, you have paid. It should come to the right. Maybe you've got the wrong email address.
I'm actually going to check it right now, Randy.
Okay, that's good.
okay, I have results.
Okay, tell me who the top 5 are. What numbers? Just tell me what numbers.
Oh, you want the top 5 or the top 4?
Top 4. I'm sorry, top 4.
Okay, great. First of all, I'd like to say every photo got at least 1 vote. I've never seen this before from the backside, so it's fascinating for me.
Oh yeah, I mean that happens almost every week.
But the winners, number 1, number
Okay.
6, number 11, and number
Okay.
12.
Those are the 4. Okay. So it's number 1. Number 1. Number 6. Number 11. And number 12. Let's see, filter, rated 1. Oops, 1. Oops, 1. Okay, dang. So now everybody gets, whoops, 1 vote. But before we go to the second round of voting, let's talk about these 4. What do you like about it in relation to natural framing? Why do you think it's a good example of natural framing?
I see the subject.
Yeah.
Go ahead, say that again.
I said, this is Susan. I see the subject. My attention goes straight to the subject.
Okay. And do you think that the natural framing really helps you go to the subject?
No,
Oh, okay.
but and sometimes it distracts from the natural subject.
Okay.
Susan, I think here it's the color that draws your eye to the flower first, and not the frame. Is that what you're saying?
Were you talking to me?
Yes, this is Doug.
Oh, okay, Doug. No, I like the fact, let's talk about number 1. The fact that the background of the flower does not distract. If the flower had been in a vase, and then with the gray behind it, I wouldn't have liked it as much. But yes, I definitely go straight to the color. But the leaves around the flower are like the frame too. So I don't know.
Okay.
They are. And what's interesting here, we often think of the frame in the foreground, like you're looking at a picture on a wall. The frame comes first.
Right.
The leaves here being the frame are behind the subject. So, you know, I guess it's a discussion point as to, is that appropriate or not? I personally think it is.
I don't know that I would have liked it that much if it had only been the flower and no leaves.
Right.
Okay. What do the rest of you
I
think?
like the fact that the leaves are in focus also.
Yes, I like that.
What about the rest of you?
Well, I think that one of the reasons your eye goes so well right to the flower is the overall composition. It has a lot of compositional aspects to it, like the curved leaves are leading lines. They draw your eye up there. It's in the so-called thirds.
Exactly.
So, you know, aesthetically, your eye goes to that point. So I think the composition is superb, and personally, I don't mind the frame being behind the flower.
Oh, no, yeah, I think it's beautiful.
What about the rest of you?
I
Nobody's-
think number 3 is a really beautiful photograph. If I had been there, I wouldn't have thought of the fence as being a frame, but I guess it really is. I think with number 1 and number 3, there's kind of a little hybridization between leading line and frame.
Okay, because it's not your standard all the way around the picture.
Right.
I
Well, in
mean,
number 3,
what's
it
leading line
underline.
and what's frame?
Number 3, the fence underlines the subject, and there's nothing else distracting it. I don't think the snow is distracted.
No,
think
Somebody stole the other 3 sides of the frame.
No, just more snow.
anybody else got any other comments?
I think
Well,
both,
Kathy?
I think both 1 and 3 make you think differently than the way we normally think about a frame.
Yes.
For me, number
Randy?
3,
Go ahead.
well, for me, number 3, the fence acts as a line that draws me to the natural frame, which is the opening in the building.
Oh, that's a different.
I hadn't thought of that.
Hadn't either, didn't register with me. Great.
And I would venture that this doesn't work in color. It's monochromatic.
Because there isn't
anyway.
any color.
Yeah, right. But
To me, that little
shades of,
dip in the fence that's right under the house is what makes it a frame for me.
Mhm. Good point.
I also think that the slats on the roof almost mimic the fencing slats and can become kind of a frame for the rest of the cabin below.
Okay.
Yeah, Randy, one of the one image that to me really screams natural frame is image number 2, because I could just see myself in the woods looking out at the bison walking through the snow, and the photographer did the right thing as far as putting the trees out of focus, because that's the way we really see that image, isn't it? We don't see full depth of field from 2 feet in front of us out all the way out to infinity. So I think that was very well done, and you look at the way those bison rather are spaced out within that natural frame, and I think they just did a really superb job.
And the shadow of the bison
Yeah,
Yes.
kind
yeah.
of fits with the
But you look at that, and we've been talking about natural frames, and so to me, what a frame needs to do is it needs to hold me in the image, and the bison in the snow, those evergreen branches just are holding me in there, just now counting the bison and studying them much more closely. I think 1 and 3 are beautiful images. Don't get me wrong. But they don't hit me as being strong natural frames the way 2 does.
The other thing about 2 is everything in that picture is black and white except the bison. And that draws me to watch them. So,
Well, 2, the trees are in the foreground and the bison are away. And that's how we would traditionally think about framing a picture,
right.
natural frame. It's almost by definition.
Anybody got any other comments? Okay, now here's something that's a little tricky. When we get to the second round, notice that we have 4 photos and there's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's a new set of numbers. So make sure that you're voting for 1, 2, 3, or 4 and send that to Lauren. Okay, so I don't want you to get confused. So you couldn't vote for 6 or 11 or 12, or it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay. Ready, set.
1 vote, Randy.
One, correct. I'm sorry. 1 vote, yes.
But we haven't even looked at number 4 up close or talked about it.
You want me to show you all? Should I?
No, you've got 4 here that we're looking at, but we didn't talk about the 4th one.
No, we didn't. Gave that, no one said anything about that. We could go through each one of these if you wanted.
Well, I think we've gone through 1, 2, and 3, and I just was thinking about 4.
I
Does
agree.
anybody have any comments that they want to share with number 4?
It's so busy, I don't even see the cabin.
Okay.
I think it's
Yeah.
a nice natural frame. I mean, the subject is the cabin. And it's nicely framed by the trees on both sides.
Or is the subject the mountain peak in the background?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything leads to the mountain peak.
Or is the mountain
Yeah.
part of the frame?
In
No,
fact, if I would crop the cabin right out and have the you can make a square at the top and do that for Michael.
Or crop down from the top, crop out the mountain and have the cabin
Right.
be framed by the trees.
I'd like to see the sky just a little darker so the mountain pops a little more.
Yeah.
Michael, while Lauren is adding and subtracting, I'll check my spam folder and I'll put the newsletter as a contact, and then it will go to the right place.
Doug, did you get the chat I sent you?
Yes, I'm responding to it.
Is that the right address?
It's the right address. I
Okay.
just think it's being diverted off somewhere. But if I put it actually in my contact list, it'll end up correctly.
1954, isn't it something 1954?
1950, Nature 1950.
Oh, 1950.
And I don't know where the 1950 came from.
It's because I was 3 years old then.
Well, okay.
How
I was
how
14.
you coming there, Lauren?
Any more votes? Okay, now, who's the parliamentarian? I have a question. One person voted for 2. How do I count that?
First one in.
First one?
Yeah, I think that's probably the better way to go.
Ah. If that's the case, that's very good because we had a 4-way tie. If it's the first one,
Had a 4-way tie?
we have a winner. Yep.
Lauren,
No
you get
kidding.
that Candy and I have 2 different
All
votes.
4 got an equal number of votes.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a clarification for the one with 2, and it was the first one. So we do have a winner. It was close, but we do have a winner.
Okay, let's start
Lauren,
out with,
did you hear? Lauren, did you hear what Lewis said?
You have Candy and I vote.
Yes, I got
We're on
both.
the laptop. We got 2 different votes.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
thank you for letting me know who was that.
Okay.
Thanks, Lewis. Appreciate it.
okay, are you ready, Lauren?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, 4th place. Which one is in 4th place?
All of them. I mean, seriously, they all 4 had the same votes except for that last one, and there was a clarification from the person that it was.
So we have 4 first places and 4 fourth places.
Now you have, with that last clarification, we have a first place and 3 second places.
Okay, all right.
That makes sense.
So let's go. Who's in second? Give me the 3 second places.
So nobody will figure out who won then, huh? Okay, in second place, number 1, number 3, and number 4.
Okay, so first place is number 2. So let me tell you who these are. Second place, Charlotte, is photo number 1. Sue, yes. The second place is Sue, number 3. And the third second place is number 4. And the winner is number 2.
Hang on, Randy.
Yep.
Who's number 4? You didn't say who it was.
I'm sorry. Tim. Tim is number 4. His photo number 4. And the winner is picture number 2, who is Michael's picture, who we took up in Yellowstone last week? This week?
Last week.
Last week. All right. This is a first that we've got 4 pictures that are all into it. I will have this on the Facebook page. I will also put it in the Teton Photography Club web page in the Peer Mentor program. No, this is going to be complicated because first place picks the theme for next month. And normally it would be somebody that's regularly in, but Michael, now you've got to be regularly in next month, and you get to pick who because last time, you've done this before, last time you gave it to Becky, who was in second place, but now you can't give it to second place because there's too many second place people. Okay, wait a second here. let me go back. You share, let me go back to here. Okay, wait a second here. Now you're gonna have to tell me. Now, do you guys have?
Yeah.
That complete? Okay. I've rearranged this a little bit because what we had before, what I realized was really valuable for us. And if any of you feel like, oh, I don't like that, let me know, because I just thought that what I've got here in green are all what I would call, and I don't have a good word for it, photography artists. All of these black and white, complementary colors, shadows, micros, are all things that kind of are challenging because there's something we look for, like foreground interest, focal points, while 19 through 34, like weather is typically one of them. Is weather one of them?
Subjects.
Yes, weather is number 27, which are just fine, but I think it's good for us to try to pick some of these that are in green. The two that are in red are ones that have already happened this year. So now we want Rumpelstiltskin to pick us one of the 34 minus natural frames and ice.
So does it have to be one of these 34?
Yes.
Ah.
What did you have in mind for us, Michael?
What I had in mind was particularly March, which is a very interesting month because March is such a transition month between winter and spring. And so one of the things that we get in March that we don't get many other times of year is various, very different variety of running water. You know, we get icicles melting, we get streams that start filling up, we get running water in all kinds of places. So I was thinking maybe 28 could be expanded to include running water.
I will put down number 35 as Michael's running water. How's that? I think that's a good idea because we do have a
No
lot of
objection.
different kinds of, you might find, like Susan, if she's back in Arizona, she might find a waterfall that's just water, but yeah, that's a good one. Okay,
That's
I will
awesome.
add that number 35 as running water, not just water.
Yeah,
Okay.
running water.
Running water.
If you live in Texas, the possibilities are endless, right?
And Michael Rumpelstiltskin,
Yes, sir.
you owe me a few articles. So what I have people do is send me articles that then I will put into our Teton Photography Club website that people can look at. And you're kind of define what running water means. So that should be interesting.
Great.
Okay.
I just want to shout out to Michael. He comes out here a couple of months to ski and then, very active with the club. But last week I found him at the senior center volunteering with the vaccinations.
Oh, nice.
And I've had my second one. My wife gets her second tomorrow morning. But I think it's great that you come out here and take your time to help.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, Michael. And thank you for helping us out with something else in terms of the Teton Photography Club, all the little things that we've got to do. I've got something that I've never done before, but my next door neighbor who does some really good things with photography. Hold on a second here, stop and share. I hope I can get this. Wait a second. Okay. Ooh. Hold on. How do I leave this? Share screen. Ah, here we go.
It was a very exciting trip. Randy hit full screen on that.
Okay. Louis, tell us a little, you and Ken, can you tell us a little bit about this? This is about 5 minutes, but Louis sent this to me yesterday. I thought, this is so much fun to watch.
Randy, hit that little icon on the lower right that looks like 4 arrows going in different directions.
Right there.
Okay.
So Candy and I went to Katmai in August with, whoops. Oh, I thought I was going. With Sue Cedarholm and 3 other people, and spent the time on a boat on the Coastal Explorer, which shows up in this. And of course, mainly to photograph bears, but a few other things. So this is what I do to share my images. You know, I don't do any social media whatsoever. So I make slideshows typically after trips, but some other things. And then I have a list of friends and family, and they get emailed out the link and a little description of the trip. And this after, like I said, we went in August, and I just finished this yesterday. So this was a record number of images that I've ever taken on a trip, and I'm too embarrassed to even say what that number was. And it took a long time to hone it down. And 5 minutes is a long slideshow. I usually try and keep it to about 3. So that's what this is. Mostly bears having fun.
And these are all Lewis's images, just so everybody knows that. We do separate slideshows for our photos, so these are all Lewis.
Okay. And Louis paid the price for doing this. Here you go.
I did pay the price for doing it, yeah.
Louis, what was the temperature out?
It was way too nice. 60s, 70s, a lot of sunshine.
Oh, nice.
Louis, this is Doug. Did when Mama caught the fish, did she feed the cubs or not?
Sorry.
Yes and no.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay, when I was up there 10 years ago, Mama did not feed the fish to the cubs. She was still nursing them.
Yeah, they you see a lot of spring cubs here, and yeah, they nursed, and they were certainly interested in the fish too.
They would try to come steal them.
So Louis, there's one picture that went by a few minutes ago that was a black and white, and it was just an outline from backlit.
Uh-huh.
I would love to see that one again.
I also like the one where the fish was escaping.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Fish was
that.
in there. Yeah, a lot of that.
Oh, nice.
I was up there with Sue also, but she was playing Sherpa for Tom.
Yeah. Sue's doing her own trips
She's
now.
leading her own trips.
Yeah.
We've gone twice with her and we go again this August. Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
We followed this fox for about 45 minutes on the skiff. Could have cared less about us.
That's cool.
Nice.
Like that.
So these are all shot from a boat?
No, most of them are not shot from a boat. No, you go on the skiff to land and then walk to where the rivers are and watch them fish.
How much lens do you need?
Not much. I took a 120-3 was what most of these are done. 123 and 80-4, 24-70, and very often I had to take out the iPhone because they were too close.
Wow.
They would walk 20 feet away, 15 feet away.
Yeah.
It's not like
When I was there,
hands.
the most common lens when I was there 10 years ago was a 2-400. But
Yeah.
you're right. You don't have to go out to the 400 very often.
Yeah, I left my 500 at home.
Wow.
It froze.
Yep, it froze.
It was almost the end, but now it's the end.
I have a friend up in Yellowstone right now with my 2-500.
Randy, can you
Get rid of it? No.
Yeah, it froze. I don't even know why. Shouldn't be 2 frames in the. Whoop.
Really nice pictures.
Yes, thank you.
It's a great trip. Somebody, if you've never done it, you ought to go to Alaska to shoot bears. I mean,
We'll be here for hours if you don't stop it. Yeah.
If anybody is ever interested in photographing bears, and especially since we have to be much more mindful here of being further away from them because they're different bears. Coastal bears are different than from inland grizzly bears. It's an incredible place to go. Highly recommend it.
Was the
What's
forest?
the name of the person you?
I'm sorry, was the Forest Service watching you?
You know, it's national park there, and there were a couple of rangers around, and they came up and talked to us. It's, people go there and photograph bears. And Chuck, the captain of the boat, has been doing this. I think he's the first, or at least one of the first people to start doing this kind of trip. So he's been at it for
30 years,
25, 30 years or something, so he knows everything and
That's
everybody.
about how long ago I did it. And
Yeah.
I went to McFitt Creek, and we went up with a Forest Service man with his gun.
Oh, yeah.
It was absolute. They only let X number of people go.
Yeah.
And if a woman was having her period, she could not go.
Interesting.
Can you share
Yeah,
the
so-
information regarding the tour?
Oh, happy to. Yeah. So Chuck does this, there's a few people on boats. His boat is the Coastal Explorer. So you're on the boat, you're liveaboard on the boat, you go to land, twice a day, basically, and walk to where the bears are. And Chuck just goes, there's all sorts of different bays and inlets. We were in Geographic Harbor for this one. But he goes basically where the bears are. So this year, that's where the bears were. We stayed there the whole time. Last year, we went to 3 different harbors.
And Rachel, to answer your question, Sue Cedarholm is the person that led the trip. She's Tom Mangelson's assistant. And,
Yeah, I thought that's who you meant. Yeah.
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 Take It With You Travel is her website.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I was at the Silver Salmon River.
Yeah.
And we weren't on a boat except for one day when we went out looking at birds. But we flew in and landed on the beach.
Yeah. Yep.
Bush pilot.
Clark, isn't it?
Yeah, Silver Salmon Lodge in Lake Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of ways to go do Katmai, but this is pretty cool with the boat because you have so many options. And it's it's just eight guests maximum we had 4 of us this year, 5 of us.
But you book it through Sue?
Book it through Sue, yeah.
But there's lots of other people. I mean, Sue's booked this year because we're back
Randy,
on.
you know you're still sharing your screen, Randy?
Yeah, well, I thought you'd be getting this. I got kind of lost in this mess, but
Yeah, there's lots of other people that are also on the Coastal Explorer. In fact, the guy who I don't know him personally, some of you may, the guy that runs the photo, the
is
camera
that
store.
right now that you can see each other?
Nope.
No.
You're still sharing your screen. You have to stop sharing.
I'm used to
guy-
sharing with people.
The guy that
Yeah.
runs the camera store in Idaho Falls also leads trips on Coastal Explorer. So that's another person, another good person to look for.
Well, professors are supposed to share.
Louis, if it's not too personal a question, I'd love to know, do you still have any lingering effects from the COVID?
I don't. No.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was, it kicked my butt for 3 weeks. And probably a little bit longer than that. I just decided after 3 weeks that I was done with it. And mostly at that point, I was still crazily fatigued.
I think COVID just froze Lewis.
Yeah, it just got him again. Oh dear.
Michael, where's that pier behind you?
That is on Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, man, okay.
That's when someone tells me to take a long walk off a short pier, I have a place to go.
Yeah, it's only 4.
Okay. Is there anything else anybody would like to share? It seems like this was a valuable thing for me to do if I've got a video or something like that of a member. So if any of you have something like this, share it with me. We can take what it takes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. I thought it was very valuable to have. Thank you very much. Listen, Candy, appreciate it.
Quick question. Did David post the video from the Milky Way talk yet?
We will. I think he's going to send it to me tomorrow, and I'll try to get it up tomorrow.
Okay, so it's still to come.
Yeah, still to come.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it.
No, we'll get it up, and it'll be under presentations in the member resources tab of the website.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Rachel, that's probably something that would be very good to put in the snapshot that we're trying to present things, to include things that we have videotaped, audio taped for people to hear and how they could get to them. Because I think we have a lot of nice things that people would really value.
Yeah, I was actually
Sure.
going to ask Lewis and Candy about that, but they logged off right now. Because we could also link to their Vimeo site if they would like to share that on the website, we could do it. So
I'll ask
might ask,
Louis.
yeah.
Rachel, can you go home yet, or are you still locked out?
No, we can't get home. I don't know
Yeah.
if we're going to get home ever, probably. They're not letting citizens back. There's a cap on people coming back. It's just an absolute mess. So no,
Yeah.
we're
I've
probably
got a
not even
friend
going to
in
make it back for Christmas.
Yeah.
I'd say it'll be
I've got a friend in
2020.
New Zealand. In New Zealand, he has 5 cattle ranches, 85,000 sheep and 15,000 head of cattle spread around the 2 islands. And he usually comes here for half a year. He's on the
Mhm.
board of a couple of foundations, but if he came, he couldn't get home. So he's staying
Yeah.
there.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm lucky I still have a job, because if I lost my job, I'd be illegal here and then I'd be in a lot of trouble. So yeah,
well, you wouldn't be
our
alone.
government's basically abandoned us. So that's nice.
Well, we're
Well, if you
glad to
become
have you,
illegal, you
Rachel.
wouldn't be alone.
Well, thank you to Randy and Doug for that. Yeah, I'll be here for a while, it seems, because I've been abandoned by my own country.
Well, it's their loss, it's our win.
Yeah, it
Oh,
definitely
well,
is.
thank you, Doug. That's very sweet. I'll be able to do the snapshot forever.
All righty.
Don't let
Anybody
Beth
have
be.
anything else? I'm ready to leave. Okay?
Thank
Okay,
you.
running water next year.